As a quick precursor to this episode, I would love to invite you to attend the autumn edition of my in-person event, Dare Greatly in the Coaching Arena, which will be held on Friday the 8th of November in Barnes, southwest London. It's a 5-minute walk from Barnes Station, and there's also a free car parking place on site. So it's the best of both worlds. We will be preparing and planning for your best ever 2025, and you will leave with that vision and strategy for your next 12 months with a newfound sense of connection and focus. We will be harvesting your present and planting the seeds for a profitable and joyful 2025, allowing your business goals to bloom with ease. I'm very excited to be bringing the warmth of the season and all of those beautiful colours and everything we can learn from shedding what no longer serves us and preparing for spring. Embrace the seasons of change and join me on 8th of November to Dare Greatly in the Coaching Arena. Do not worry if you don't know anyone. I will ensure that you feel welcome from the moment you arrive until the moment you leave. I cannot wait to see you there, and grab the link now in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lott, a business mentor and ICF accredited coach, and I help coaches to build brilliant businesses. I know that when you prepare to enter the arena, there is fear, self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty, shame. You can tend to armor up and protect yourself from vulnerability. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest, not hype, practical and emotional tools to support you to make the difference that you're here for. Dare greatly, you belong in this arena. Hello, welcome to the 39th episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I am so glad you are here. Last week, I held an in-person event called Dare Greatly in the Coaching Arena. I shared a metaphor to help the attendees really see how to build that client acquisition pipeline. So I'm excited to share part of what I shared on that day with you today. In this episode, we will explore that powerful metaphor for client acquisition as a staircase. Each step represents a phase in the journey of your potential clients from their first awareness of you to deciding to work with you. So let's think about the staircase as a series of steps that potential client climbs, and each step represents a deeper level of engagement and trust with you. Every step on this staircase is crucial for building a lasting relationship with the client enough for them to purchase. So they have to know, like, and trust you to buy. And so every step along the staircase builds that know, like, and trust enough for them to buy your services. Let's think about your client at the bottom of this staircase, and maybe there are 4 or 5 steps and you are at the top. The first step is going to be building awareness and interest. Your initial touch points might be things like social media posts, networking events, maybe introductory emails or calls with people you used to know. It's not just about know, like, and trust. We also will need your content or what you are verbally saying to people to help them to see that you can help with an actual tangible problem that they have. So, for example, if you're creating content, inspiring quotes often don't cut it enough for them to even take that first step on the staircase. For it to be impactful, they really need to see that you understand them, their everyday life, what problems they're experiencing, their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations, enough to be able to just take that first step of like, okay, this person has my interest, they understand where I'm at, and I'm aware of them now. Really think about your ideal client when you are creating things. Where are they now? Are they feeling like it's Christmas, another year's coming, this one wasn't as good as the last? What exactly are they feeling, and how can you help to really capture what they're feeling well enough that you know them more than they know themselves? That is what we are aiming for in your content and in your conversations with potential clients. So now perhaps you have got that client to take their first step on the staircase. They are vaguely aware of you. They're a little bit interested in what you're saying, in what you're doing. Let's talk about the midway steps now, which represent deepening engagement and trust. These strategies might include creating a lead magnet, which is a free PDF, which you offer to people in exchange for their email address. This is something that I teach in my program, The Business of Coaching, because there are quite a few techie steps and strategic steps to make this approach really, really work. I was in a funnel project for an entire year, just learning about how important it is to create the right lead magnet, the right title, the right subtitle, the right follow-up emails, how you can really use those emails to nurture people even further. So there are a few steps to this, but essentially it's about offering something of high value to that client in order for them to think that this is valuable enough to offer you my email address. And then you can get to build that relationship even more using email as well as social media. So now you are showing up in two places in their world. If, for example, you are networking, this would include follow-ups with the people that you have met, maybe seeing if you can have one-to-one calls with them, engaging in more meaningful conversations, maybe sharing valuable insights through emails. If they've mentioned they're interested in something, you might want to send them an article or something useful to help them to start to know you, like you, and trust you even further. This area of the staircase is when consistency will also come in. It used to be said that people needed 7 touch points to buy. Now it has gone up to 21 touch points to buy. So in other words, people need to see you and things you're doing at least 21 times before they really know you enough to buy from you. So we could even think about staircases having 21 steps, but that might feel like an absolute mountain. So let's just go back to the first steps, then midway steps, which is deepening engagement and trust. We are moving up the staircase to our higher steps, which is establishing your expertise and credibility. This part might include things like reading blogs, things that they can kind of binge on your content. So blog, podcasts, and a YouTube channel are really good for that binge-worthy content, so they can really get up those 21 steps a little bit quicker. Depending on your niche and what sort of work you're doing, this might include things like published articles where you can kind of borrow the trust of the magazine or newspaper that they already know and trust. It might be guesting at events, again, where you are borrowing the trust of that person who's hosting the event, because if they have invited you, then people are far more likely to trust you. This might be webinars where people get to come and meet you, hear what you have to say, see if they like your approach. Maybe live events, like I held my live event last week. That's another way of people taking that further step up the staircase, getting to know you further. Also having greater insights. If you can help someone to have insights and make progress, when the time is right, they are far more likely to think, that person's already helped me to make progress. Maybe they can help me to make even more progress. These higher steps are all about showcasing your expertise. You might want to write white papers, talk at events, do lunch and learns. It depends on your niche as to where you might want to show up. You might want to write a book. There are all sorts of ways to establish yourself as an expert in your space. Okay, we have built your brand, we have showcased your expertise. They are now nearing the top of the staircase. This is where we convert them into a client if they are the right fit, where that potential client gets to decide whether to engage in your services and you get to decide whether to work with them as well. This may be a discovery call, most likely. So you would want to be having an effective discovery call that can convert prospects into clients, help them to see where they are now, what are the gaps, where do they want to be, and how you can help. If it's a lower cost item, you might be able to do this from a sales page, or if you have built up a lot of trust and expertise and case studies. So congratulations, you have moved that ideal client from not knowing you exist up the staircase to seeing you as an expert able to help them with their problem. Let's recap the steps so you can ensure that you are not missing anything on this journey, because I know a lot of people stick to this surface level social media and it's just not good enough. I like to think of it as a shallow place to show up. Social media could be your shallow place, and we do need those places to get in front of more people. But also we really want that deep nurture place. So the deep nurture is those higher steps: our podcast, our blogs, our YouTube, our event speaking, our white papers, our book, whatever we can do to really showcase our expertise beyond kind of vaguely inspiring people on social media when they are just busy scrolling by. So have a think now about your deep nurture place and what is your shallow nurture place. You are likely to need both. If you are thinking about your website and how that fits into this and how to drive traffic to your website, this is how, sadly, unless you have a very established website that has been trusted by Google for years, or are paying regularly a lot of money for great SEO and a lot of blog posts to form part of your website, it is highly unlikely to appear on the first page of Google. So how you drive traffic to your website is through showing up. People are highly unlikely to find your website unless they know you already. Think of your website as somewhere that people who already know you check that you are an established business person. Sadly, the website doesn't form a really huge part of your early awareness stage journey. So let me briefly recap on where we've been today. So we are thinking about your pipeline and how you fill that pipeline. And if we think about it using a staircase with your client at the bottom, we firstly need to take their first steps. So that is usually your shallow places like social media or your initial networking group. Then we need to take the midway steps. That might be getting them onto your email list or having follow-up one-to-one conversations with them. Next up is our higher steps, where you are establishing expertise and credibility by showing up, really deepening that know, like, and trust factor. And finally, we have the top of your staircase, where you're going to have a discovery call, usually to convert that person into a client. You may be thinking that this feels like an awful lot of work, and all I can do is say it is so worth your time. Can you imagine if you can help people even in your free content? And I know you might need the paying clients and all of that stuff, but I genuinely believe giving value is what you will get paid for. So if you are holding back and not showing up and not providing real value in your content or in your conversations, then sadly people won't know, like, and trust you to refer you and to eventually buy from you. So just know that good marketing makes a massive difference in the world. And that is why I love recording this podcast. And I know people have made huge progress from just this podcast alone. And I'm happy with that. I know that the right people will work with me. Those who aren't in that position will refer people to me or make progress with just my free content. So stop and think now about how lovely it would feel for someone to perhaps message you saying, I read your blog post and I immediately took this step and I am so much further forward. How good are you going to feel when you have an actual strategy to really show up and be an expert and make the difference that you are here for? Thank you for listening today. I hope you enjoyed our staircase metaphor to help you to fill your client pipeline. If you would like my help to do this, this is what I do in my program, The Business of Coaching. Feel free to find the details on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. I'm not taking on any clients this month because my diary is full, but you can start in January. And actually, if you are keen, you can start now and absorb all of the content over Christmas as an extra month free in the program, and your official support period will start in January. So don't let Christmas put you off. There's bound to be times when you can reflect on your business and start making progress, so you are in a fantastic position for 2024. And like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly, and